Yeah, you can tell by the last video how jerky it was, and then how it cut off. It kind of interrupted itself at the end. So, um, so another thing about the chosen ones is you're being abundantly provided with light and dark. Okay, so this is an abundance, and this is an abundance that should reach out across all your tables at some point. So, where you have an abundance of darkness and you're given an abundance of light to deal with it and to transform yourself, then there also should be an abundance on your plate. So, if that's not coming, you're being blocked. And you're being blocked by people in very high places that desperately do not want God's manifestations on earth and in you. And they haven't for a long time because once that happens in earnest, they are incapable of retaining their place in the world. And so you have to get good at discerning those blockages, where they're coming from. You're working with your own inner blockages first, which are your own inner misgivings about yourself. Am I light? Am I flesh? I don't know. And so you sort through all that and you start discerning good spirits and evil spirits, and then you start then you're clearing, cleansing, doing whatever you got to do to get yourself into the right modality. You start learning about remembering your mission. Like I'm chosen and anointed, so and my anointing comes with a dreadful aspect, and that's what I've been shown. 6 years ago when God said, "Hey, it's time to come online." I'm like, I don't want to come online. Have you seen how crazy and stupid this whole thing is here? And he was like, "Well, you could die. I mean, there's an option because that's the only reason you actually came down here." And I'm like, "Okay, how about instead of what you showed me in the dream last night, a bullet, you know?" And that was like that for 2 to 3 years. And some of you other chosen anointed ones probably went through something similar where you're just like, oh, hell no. Ain't gonna do it. Ain't gonna do it because these people are not worth it. Been put down, had so much stuff in my life that it makes sense that I would now turn into a benefactor of light for the population of Earth. So, yeah, it's tough. And then you had to go through shedding all your darkness, all the darkness that was in you. And you had to unlearn the learned patterns because you probably had the same toxic childhood that I had. And you had to stop being that person, right? And what sets me apart as a dread chosen one is because I had angered some very powerful people who saw fit to summon a fallen angel on me. In other words, they had done enough human sacrifice to be able to embody a fallen angel to come after me. So, and for you normies out there, you're gonna blast and say whatever you want to say, but you know, why are you smoking and talking about God? Well, haven't you heard yet? Everyone's on the page. Everyone's getting on the page that we've been lied to about everything. Light and dark are part of the one same aspect. You are both light and dark. Okay? If you take your darkness and befriend it as a tool for you to learn about the light within you, that's exactly what it becomes. So you can But my minister says, you can take that down the road, because that was never true, and it never elevated society at all. This is the time when we're elevating society, and we are conducting a harvest. And that harvest has everything to do with anyone that's willing to come to the kingdom of heaven within. And you can't get there unless you're like a child, as Jesus said. So you have to recover your state of origin from all the wreckage and false descriptions of the world, which is what the chosen and anointed are doing. And any of you that are not involved in that process, sitting there bashing it, you're just resolving your true natures to darkness. I don't care what your pastor says. I don't care what all these religions say. Hinduism was probably a lot more on point about the role of darkness than Christianity will ever be, when they considered them just to be antagonists of the gods. They were made in the image of gods. They have become like us in the knowledge of good and evil. So there's some truth. They left some truth in the Bible. That was part of the contract. And the punchline was that it was all done for these times of awakening. And you're here now to choose your true nature. And the chosen ones and the chosen and anointed ones are leading the pack. And it's not these. I don't get paid. I haven't taken a dime for this. I was expressly told not to. And the reason being is because God told me when I was a kid I would be wealthy. Now I'm wealthy. Man, how do I position this camera? This is confusing. So anyway, I'm wealthy in darkness. I've had 57 years of it. Literally, my entire life. I have a wealth of darkness that you cannot believe. Including being attacked by summoned spirits from many covens. So that I have a lot of knowledge about that. And when I stopped struggling with those things, was the moment where I realized that's just helping me. And so I was grateful to those dark energies and those dark entities. And so now when people cast them at me through their bad attitudes or their judgments or stuff like that, I feel it, man. I feel it all. Because of the violent childhood I've had, man, I am so aware of energies when people aren't even around me. And so now, after a couple months of practice, I'm like, well, thank you, Satan, darkness, principality of darkness, for showing me these energies, but take them back where they came from. And that has to happen. Because you can't... Darkness, when recognized as a tool, cannot touch the light. When it is appreciated for its function, it cannot touch the light. And a lot of you guys might be struggling with that in your own lives. And but that's a struggle made simple. Okay, so you become grateful to God within you. You become grateful to the darkness within you. All things are working to fashion you into what you're supposed to become. Wow, 9 minutes? That is amazing. I did not think I would make 9 minutes. My computer's been cat stomped. Anyway, so yeah.